Okay, everyone, I do believe we are ready to begin our very first live session together. Thank you very much for being here. This is the first live session for digital literacy. My name is Justin Hardy, and I'm one of the instructors for digital literacy. I'm also joined by Jeremy Moore, Jonathan Grandois, and Peter Francis, who are also instructors for digital literacy. So, as we're going through all of the material today, we're going to be mostly communicating with each other through the chat box. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. The other instructors are going to be keeping an eye on it. So if I happen to miss your question or your suggestion because I'm working through the material here out loud, the other instructors will be more than happy to answer your question in the chat. We will get to a number of things today, so let's go over and talk about our agenda. We're going to talk about the go-to training sessions in general, the session we're in right now. We're going to talk about the concept of digital literacy. So right now, I want you guys to start thinking of your personal definition of digital literacy. I don't want you to crack open a dictionary. I don't want you to go clicking through Google. I want you to give me your thoughts and opinions on what you think digital literacy happens to be based on the term itself. Or if you've already got previous knowledge, we'd love to hear it. So once you've got that answer ready to go, just hold on to it. I will let you know when you can fire that off. So that's going to be the second thing we cover at the very beginning. Then we're going to talk about a couple of tips to succeed in digital literacy, managing your time, finding a good study environment for yourself, making sure that you ask questions, just as a couple of different topics that we're going to cover in depth. And then we're going to move over to the week one discussion post, which a lot of you have already taken care of, the first part of. That's wonderful. And then we're going to talk about the assignment, do a small demonstration of how the assignment looks, show you what an example of the assignment looks like, and we're going to give you some resources that will allow you to complete everything this first week as smoothly as possible. Okay, so here's the first thing. The go-to training session that we are all in right now is going to be handled primarily through the chat box. And a lot of you have already introduced yourselves, so thank you for using that tool. If you have any particular questions you want to relay to your instructor specifically, you do have the option of selecting the entire audience, which is this green box that you guys are chatting in here. You can also talk to the organizers only, which will be a blue chat box. But if you want to talk to a specific student or a specific instructor, you can select their name from the list below entire audience and organizers only. So if you want to speak to your instructor, you have a question that's specific to you, and for whatever reason you don't want the rest of the chat to see it, you can just go ahead and address your instructor individually or talk to one of your classmates individually without disrupting the chat for everyone else. However you want to do it, that is going to be your means of communication for the duration of our time together here and in week 4 when we have our second live session. So, all right, so now that you guys have loaded up your answers to this question, I want to go ahead and ask you, what is digital literacy in your words? So just go ahead and throw that in the chat box. If you don't have a definition just yet and you're working on it, just keep marinating that and just throw it in when you got it. Okay, so Sherry says that it's being able to understand and navigate throughout this digital world we now live in. Stephanie says that she thinks that digital literacy is the basic knowledge that you need to complete a task on the internet. Those are both very good initial definitions. So Gregory says that it's the terms and definitions. There's a little bit more to it than that. What else do we have here? Being computer literate is a huge part of it, Sean. That's a huge umbrella. And it's not a problem. It's all good. So Alyssa says that it's the ability to understand the internet and how to navigate the internet. Okay, perfect. What else do we have? Okay, Justin says that it's digital literacy is the way of communicating and utilizing resources in order to communicate through electronics. Thomas says that it's being able to effectively work through online databases. And Lisa says that digital literacy is being tech savvy and being able to communicate and navigate. And Kevin says that it's being able to understand how to use technology. Najee says that it's Alan says that it's having the knowledge necessary to operate effectively and efficiently within the digital world. So I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but you're seeing a lot of different terms and phrases show up over and over and over again. It's about understanding and leveraging the internet, your research resources, your professional resources, social media, all of the digital tools available to you. One, to become more proficient with them, which is the literacy aspect of it, but also to know how to use it properly when you're trying to research something you don't know, or you're trying to understand something that you only have a basic passing understanding of, how to get that deeper understanding of it and not get misguided by sources that may or may not be telling the truth because they've got an agenda. We're also going to show you how to discern between the different sources that you guys are going to run into on the web. All right, so here are a couple of just basic definitions of digital literacy that kind of fold into the whole. So David says that he believes digital literacy is the understanding of technology. And one more, Mary says that digital literacy is the ability to understand and apply digital media and tools within the digital worldscape responsibly. I'm glad you put that term there, responsibly. It's one thing to know how to use your tools. It's one thing to abuse your tools instead. So knowing how to best approach your digital information, how to best approach your research, how to know what you're researching, whether or not it's true or not, and all of these little aspects all fold into the whole of digital literacy. So thank you, Mary, for that. We really appreciate your time. And Nathan, of course, I'm not ignoring you, but we're going to have to move on a little bit. But you're definitely in the right park. So it's essentially knowing and learning your software, whether it's Final Cut Pro, whether it's Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, whatever your program happens to be, Maya. It's also about becoming internet savvy. So it's not just using it's not just using Google, excuse me, and Google is a great resource, but it's not just using your search engine and getting just your basic results and taking them at face value. Sometimes those results may not be the best ones. Sometimes you have to dive a little deeper. Sometimes you have to cross-reference the sources that you read and see online through Google or other search engines in order to make sure that what you're reading and what you're using is truthful, knowledgeable, and credible. And you guys are going to be working on that in week 2. Conducting proper research, knowing where to do your research, learning how to use the library databases that we provide you here at the LA Film School. Having the knowledge of knowing how to find something is going to get you very, very far. It's one thing to not know how to do something. It's another thing to not know how to do something and not know how to find out how to do something. You never want to be in that second camp. It's okay to be in the first one. If you've got the tools to be able to understand something to a deeper level, use them. And that's what we're going to show you how to do this month. Each week is going to cover a different aspect of utilizing your digital tools and becoming more digitally literate. So by the end, you guys are going to have a great fundamental tool set with which to complete your LA Film School career. And then we're going to talk about excellent communication practices, kind of like what I'm doing right now. It's explaining all of the things that are going to be coming down the pipe in the near future and some of the things that you want to think about long term. So you want to think about how you communicate with not only your instructors for that practice on being professional, but also clients, potential employers, your classmates, your family members. You want to make sure that you communicate to each of them with the proper language that's specific to your audience so that you can have maximum effectiveness with your message. Now, it's a little deeper than what we're getting into, but these are the things that you want to keep in mind, and these are the higher level concepts that we're going to be introducing to you guys. And to wrap it all up, it's all about creating a professional online presence. So it's about knowing your software, being internet savvy, knowing how to do your research, knowing how to communicate that research in an effective way. And all of these are going to give you an online presence that's super professional, that people are going to seek you out, if not for your knowledge, then for your employment. So think about these tools as a method of empowerment. They're only going to make you stronger if you master them. All right, so let's go ahead and move along. I'm going to jump off my soapbox for a minute here, and we're going to talk about some housekeeping things about digital literacy in general. And all of this information is going to transfer not from just month 1, but month 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through your career here at LA Film. So you want to keep these things in mind today and for the rest of your time here. So think about checking your email at least twice a day, and be sure to keep your email messages professional and be proactive. So let's go through this one at a time. Check your email at least twice a day. That's going to be the primary way that Peter, Jeremy, Jonathan, and I are going to get in touch with you guys. So if we're wondering, hey, are you doing okay? Do we need to have a one-on-one meeting? we're going to send you a message in case, or you can send us a message and we can start that line of communication with each other. And that involves you being proactive. So if you run into an issue where you're not sure how to complete an assignment, or the instructions are unclear, or whatever the reason happens to be, make sure that you reach out to your student advisors. Make sure that you reach out to online support if you need any technology assistance, or if you need assistance with your work and what you're turning in. Make sure that you reach out to your instructors. So it's about understanding also the methodology behind being professional when you're sending your emails. So some of the emails that we get as instructors have various questions. They have some concerns that they might have about the assignment. But one problem that we see sometimes is that they don't include their name, their student number, or anything, because the email they sent us wasn't from the LA Film School. So we have to guess about who it is. We don't know who it is at first. So you want to cut out that middleman of miscommunication by saying your name in your email, including your student number if you want to, and then letting us know your concern. Because if we know who you are, we can instantly start the process of solving that issue for you. But if we've got to hunt a little bit to figure out who you are because we don't recognize the email, whether it's a Gmail or a Yahoo account, if it's not your LA Film School email, we don't see your name attached to it. So make sure that you do create those correspondences with your LA Film School email, and that you do check it pretty often, just in case we need to get in touch with you, or in case student advising needs to get in touch with you. You definitely don't want to be out of the loop on that. Now, instructors, myself, Jeremy, Jonathan, and Peter, we're going to be giving you guys grades. What we're not doing is preparing you for failure. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to see you succeed. So the comments and feedback that we leave on your discussion post and that we leave on your assignments are meant to help you succeed. So if you say, don't check your grammar, you don't run spell check and you lose a couple of points there, that just lets you know that next time you want to make sure that you double check your spelling, double check your punctuation so that you get the maximum score possible. Same for if you don't include your references, or if you create your discussion board post and maybe you leave out content so it's a little short. You want to go back and add in a little bit more so that you can get maximum score. Now, there's no guesswork involved with this. We do have rubrics for every single discussion and every single assignment, which act as a checklist, and we're going to go over these a little bit later, but they act as a checklist for you to understand what we're looking for, what we're scoring you on, and what things you might be missing, and how we're going to penalize you for that if it comes to that. So definitely use the rubric as a guideline for, am I making sure that my spelling and grammar is correct? Do I have all of the links to my citations in here? Do I have enough content for this to be substantial? Those questions are answered in the rubric in terms of what we're looking for. So if you follow that, I guarantee you're going to get the score you're looking for. So definitely use them to your advantage. Also, if you have any concerns that don't directly tie into your discussion, assignment, or quizzes, or anything to do with digital literacy specifically, we do have contact forms for you guys to reach out to either technical support or online support, and that is under the Getting Started tab on the class page. So I went ahead and opened that up for you. So this is how to get support. This gives you the information, the phone number and the email for online advising. And if you have any sort of questions about, say, the LMS, like you're not able to submit your discussion post, you're not able to use your email, you're not able to create emails or read them, you can reach out to technical support and they'll get you fixed up right away. So you're not left out in the weeds on your own in any case where there might be some trouble involved. We do have backup plans for all of you. So if it doesn't concern us and we can't help you, online advising can help you, or technical support can lend a hand. If we're not able to do it, we're your first line of defense, these guys can definitely take care of you. So that's under the How to Get Support activity under the Getting Started tab at the very top of the class page. All right, so we're about to get into the discussion and the assignment, and I'm going to be opening up the instruction sheets for that. Here are just a couple of tips that we want you to keep in mind as you're working through. I kind of went over this a little bit, but let's continue. So you want to make sure that you read all the instruction PDFs and rubrics. But before you even start working on the assignment, just read the instructions, see what the expectations are in the rubric, and just let it swirl around in your head a little bit, let it digest a little bit, and then you can start your approach. if you have an understanding of what we're expecting from you, it's going to be a little bit easier for you to deliver that rather than kind of going back and forth between the instructions and working. Definitely give yourself a chance to understand what we want you to do before you begin. Now, all initial discussion posts are due Wednesday, and responses are due Sunday night of each week. As you can see here for my 1.3, at least 13 of you have already begun your initial posts, so you guys are ahead of the game. Thank you very much for that. Your response posts, however, are going to be due this Sunday. So your initial posts are due Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. Your response posts are due Sunday. Now, I'm going to go over that more specifically when we talk about the discussion, but I do want you guys to keep in mind that there are two due dates for the discussion. Your first post and then your second post. So we want you to try to visit the discussion boards each day, even if you've already posted, and just keep your responses positive and constructive, because since this is your first month, you're in the class with a bunch of relative strangers. You're not sure who or what they're capable of. So this is your chance to find out. This is your chance to network and create those opportunities for professional connections in the future. All of that starts right here. Whatever job, whatever career path you're on starts right now. So why not start making those connections as soon as you can? You can only grow from here. All right, so definitely take a look at the discussion posts. Take a look and see what people are saying. And if someone strikes up a conversation or a line of thinking that really speaks to you, by all means, please reach out to them. You can create those private conversations so you guys can have those emails back and forth if you want to talk industry work or collaborate, whatever it happens to be. You're definitely going to find some like-minded people in this class because we're all here for the same reason. We want to get that foot in the door in the entertainment industry and make our dreams come true. So you never know who you're going to run into. All right, so here's an example of what the discussion rubric looks like. Or not the discussion rubric, this is just a regular rubric for your assignments. So you can see here that we've got 4 columns here that are demarking various levels of completion. So we've got exemplary, where you've got 190% of the things that we're asking for. You've got accomplished, developing, and beginning. So all of these different categories outline the expectations of what we're looking for. So if you're at the accomplished stage, perhaps there's a couple of things that you want to make sure that you include so that you fall in this exemplary column right here. So the exemplary column is going to list everything that we're looking for so that you can get the highest score possible. And Tyrone makes a really, really good point here. And I'm going to read it out loud for the guys at home that can't see the chat. So the very first step in becoming successful is to make connections. Growing up, we're told not to talk to strangers, but how can we make friends or business partners if we don't take that small leap to say hello? Tyrone, thank you so much for saying that, and I'm glad you said that. And I hope everyone at home heard me clearly. If you don't reach out, you're never going to make those connections, and you're never going to start that professional acumen that's going to get your foot in the door. You've got to start those connections. So yeah, take that leap, say hello. You never know who you're going to connect with. All right, so you want to start your assignments and your research early. So like I said earlier, you definitely want to take a look at the instructions and the rubrics to understand and digest our expectations before you begin working. So definitely get an early start on your assignments and your discussion. Like if you complete your discussion post today, that gives you all day tomorrow to take care of your world. You don't have to worry about that one part of the week for now. So definitely think about getting your work done ahead of time. Also, if you turn in your work ahead of time as well for your assignments, I've got 3 assignments that have been turned in by a couple of my students. Well, your instructors, if you would like, can take a look at them to see if you've got everything in order or if you still need some room for improvement. You can resubmit your work up until the Sunday night deadline, so never feel like you're one and done. If you want to resubmit after you take a look at it, man, I don't think I included enough information here. Just let us know. This is the submission that I would like you to grade. The one that's before this is old. Don't consider that one. And we'll definitely consider the most recent submission that you send us. Just make sure you do it before that Sunday night deadline. Now, if you do end up submitting past that Sunday night deadline, you want to be very careful. Now, David says, is that including posts? Yes. So if you say post your initial post late on Thursday, that's going to be a 10-point deduction. Now, if you don't post your response by Sunday and you kind of miss that window, unfortunately, you will only get points for what you did submit. So Sunday night is going to be the deadline for discussion replies. So if you don't get it in time, that could work against you. So definitely plan ahead for that. And Najee says, if you want, should we send an email for pre-grading? If you want to do that, by all means, you can just send us a message. Hey, I turned in my work early. Could you take a look? Oh, David is asking if you post on Wednesday and you want to rewrite it. By all means, yeah, you can take that opportunity to rewrite or edit your posts. We're not asking you to leave exactly what you wrote set in stone. So if you see some spelling errors or grammar errors, or you want to make a point more clear, you do have that leeway to edit your post, and you can take care of that. Now, late assignments. Let me go ahead and get to this because this is really important. I want you guys to understand this. If you turn in your work on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, you got something you want to think about. Late assignments may be submitted up to 3 days late unless there's an emergency. And we all have varying ideas and spectrums for what emergency contains. So definitely, if you feel like you're not able to turn your work in on time, no matter the reason, reach out to your instructor. Let us know what's going on. Let us know if it's an emergency or not. Say one of your parents is injured, one of your friends is injured, one of your family members is injured. God forbid, that's not something that happens. But if you run into a medical issue, death in the family, anything that's outside of your control but is a big deal, definitely reach out to us as soon as you can. Sometimes it's a little tough because we're feeling sad or emotional. Just make sure that you reach out. Let us know what's going on. Let your advisors know what's going on so that we can work with you and make sure that you can get your work delivered on time, or at least a little bit as early as possible in the week. Now, if you turn in your work on Monday, here's what you're looking at. 90% is as high as you can go on your score. If you turn it in on Tuesday, 80%. If you turn it in on Wednesday, that's going to be 70%. And Thursday, Friday, you're not looking good. You want to turn this work in on time, or if you're late, reach out to us, let us know what's going on, and turn it in as soon as you can. Najee, we do give exceptions to late work, like I said here, but they are in a case of an emergency. So if you've got a death in the family, medical issue, you're laid up in the hospital, it's got to be pretty important for us to be like, okay, we're going to give you an extension. But we don't grant them just for any particular reason. Like if you slept late and you didn't turn your work in on time, we can't give you an extension for that, for example. Now, if you've got a work schedule issue, definitely reach out to your instructor. Just let them know that, hey, my schedule's a little crazy. I might have to work weekends. Is there something that we can do? And so just keep that line of communication open with your instructor. Let us know what's going on, and we're able to work with you. If you don't let us know what's going on, you just turn your work in late, that's essentially all that can be done, unfortunately. So keep us in the loop. Stay proactive and let us know as soon as you know that there's going to be a problem. Also, we want you guys to keep a positive attitude and an open mind during your time in digital literacy. We do cover a lot of fundamental information. So if a lot of it seems familiar or just old territory for you, here's what we'd like you to kind of reframe that. Think about how you can use this as portfolio material for your chosen industry. So if you're a musician, if you're a music producer, if you're a film producer, if you're an animator, editor, think about how you can change or move the context of our assignments towards that direction. So for example, we have you guys cover the digital footprint of an industry professional. Make sure that you choose an industry professional that is in your chosen field. So if you want to be a film editor, find some film editors and look at their background information. How do they handle themselves on the internet? How do they handle themselves professionally? What have they worked on? How are they to work with? What do people say about them? Someday those questions are going to be asked about you. So you definitely want to keep an open eye and an open mind for the fundamentals that we're showing you and how you can direct those fundamentals into and around your chosen industry professional career. All right, so here is information about your knowledge check quizzes. They are graded automatically. So your instructors, we are not going to be grading those manually. So as soon as you click submit, it's going to be graded. So whatever score you get is going to be the score you get. However, it is open book. So if you want to go through the reading view material, if you want to look at through your discussion posts, if you want to use Google as you're working on this, that's all well and good. But just keep in mind, once you click the submit button, there's nothing else you can do to that score once it's recorded. So keep that in mind. Open book, you can only take it once. And it's due Sunday night at 11:59 Pacific time. So this is going to be due the same time as your response post and your assignment. So make sure that you give yourself enough time over the weekend to take care of your quiz, your discussion response post, and your assignment, because you don't want to wait till the last minute and have 3 things due at the same time. Give yourself some space to work. And the training sessions, this is going to be the first one, and we have another one on week 4. They're going to be at Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. If you can't make it to the live session, hello everybody at home that are watching this after the fact. We do have recordings that are posted on YouTube, and those recordings are going to be posted right here under week 1 live session view video. So if you have any questions about anything we cover, or maybe you turned away and you weren't paying attention and you missed something, we're going to have the recording posted there so you can go back and listen to it, skip around and find where you need your information, and you'll be good to go. All right, so I've got a link here for online student success. We're going to briefly hit this because we're about halfway through our session and we haven't even talked about the discussion or assignment in detail yet. So we're going to knock this out pretty quickly and then get to the meat and potatoes of why we're here today. So this is the article that I want you guys to kind of consider as you're working through your coursework for this first week and how you can make some of these concepts work for you. So the first one here is covering time management and making sure that you carve out enough time during your week to be able to take care of your school duties. So a lot of us have children at home, family members at home, pets we got to take care of, work we got to deal with and schedule around. So keep all those things in mind your whole life and think about where you can fit school in there. We're going to have to slot us in here somewhere. So think about where you can put us, whether at the end of the day, the very beginning of the day, maybe you've got a lunch hour or two where you can kind of work on stuff for a little bit and then finish it at home. Whatever strategy works for you, we want you to manage your time as best you can so that you not only create success here in digital literacy, but you create those good habits for your courses. So that's going to, again, like I mentioned a little bit ago, balancing your personal obligations. So we've got our kids at home. We've got our spouse we got to worry about. We have our job we got to worry about. There's a lot of little things throughout our day that demand our attention because they're important. So make sure that you balance those personal obligations versus your individual obligation to your schoolwork. Because, again, this is something that you're doing for yourself. Make sure you carve out that time for yourself. And that's going to involve giving you a nice, comfortable study environment. I personally like a lot of noise when I'm working on stuff, when I'm studying, because it allows me to block that out. Some people prefer complete silence. Some people like white noise, like a fan going on. Some people like to listen to music. Whatever your poison happens to be, make sure that you create a study environment that gives you the maximum amount of comfort so that you're able to learn at your own pace, so that you're able to take the time you need, as long as you need, to take care of your work and deliver excellence, because that's what we're looking for and that's what we're expecting. Now, taking all that, sometimes some of you are going to have questions no matter how well put together you are. Make sure you ask them. No matter how silly you think it is or no matter how basic you think it is, if something is unclear in our course, make sure that you reach out to your instructors. You can give us a call. You can send us an email. You can leave us a message on the class page. Hey, I'm having trouble with the first week's assignment. I'm not clear about concept X. Could you give me a call to discuss this? Or is there something that I can look at to make sure that this is clear? As long as you reach out to us and let us know you need that assistance, we're going to provide it to you. We're more than happy to. So definitely ask questions if you have them. There's no such thing as a dumb question unless you ask it 3 times. That's what a teacher once told me one time. That's not going to apply here. Ask as many as you need, but make sure that you do ask the questions that are going to give you the tools you need to succeed in our course, because that's our primary goal as your instructors, making sure you succeed. And that's going to involve you guys getting what you give, excuse me. So if you give the 100% effort, you're focused on your degree program, you tailor every single exercise to your degree program and your chosen industry, you reach out, you ask questions, you make sure that you participate in your discussion posts, you make sure that you answer your questions that your instructors might have for you, you're taking care of everything. And you're going to see that reflected in your scores, and you're going to see that reflected in how people perceive your professional ethics as well. So the effort you put into this coursework is going to be multiplied tenfold when you guys kind of get past this, get past your fundamentals, start working on your core classes, and oh yeah, Justin really showed me those fundamentals that I could really use in this course. Let me go ahead and use my Google Drive here that we learned about in week 1 to make sure that I stay organized in month 10, right? So make sure that you do make sure that you put in that effort, make sure that you understand what it is that you want so that you're able to get it and go get it, all right? So that's all I've got to say about this particular topic, student success. It's a big passion of mine. I like to see you guys succeed. So again, just a couple more hints here. Student advisors can help out with anything related to LA Film School, not just assistance with digital literacy. Online support can help you out with any issues specifically for the LMS, like if you're not able to upload your work or see your emails. And if you have any questions about online support, or if you contact online support or online advising, please let us know that you're talking to them. So if there's any questions that they might have, they can reach out to us, or we can kind of like preempt that and get into contact with them and let them know what's up. All right, so again, keep a positive and open mind. We're not here to fail you, we're here to see you succeed. So ask those questions and reach out to support for any technical issues that you encounter. And now that we have exited the housekeeping aspect, let's go ahead and get started with the good stuff. Are there any questions about the class that I haven't answered so far? All right, so if there are no questions about just the housekeeping concepts, let's go ahead and get started with why we're all here tonight. Let's talk about the discussion, and let's hit the assignment, and then we're going to leave the very end open for any questions that you might have, just in case there's something I didn't cover. All right, so we got about 30 minutes here. I'm going to run through this as cleanly as I can. If we run over a little bit of time, please stick with us. We do have a lot of important information, and we want to make sure you get it. All right, so here's our first discussion. So you want to think about having a method to stay organized, okay? Because that's going to help you in your professional and your personal goals. So being highly organized is a critically important skill for professional success, and a lot of modern digital tools such as Google Drive, the one we're going to cover today, and other apps can give you the ability to compile and organize the information you need when you need it. This week's discussion topics are going to address the ways that you can use various digital tools to organize different aspects of your life. So we want you guys to share your thoughts on some of the questions below. You don't have to do any research, but if you do some research, make sure that you include your citations as a link so we can click on that to see where you got your information. And we'd like you to share your thoughts on at least 3 of the following topics. Okay, so here's topic number 1. Talk about your organizational habits. What specific steps do you take to stay organized, and do you have challenges with organization? The second topic is, how do you organize and plan for specific events or tasks, such as appointments, parties, assignments, projects, or other important dates? The third topic is there anything that you might want to change about your organizational habits? If so, please explain. And do you already have any experience in the entertainment industry? That's going to be the next topic. Does your job or did your job require a lot of multitasking? And what kind of strategies did you or do you use to stay organized in your career or when working on a project? The next topic is, what are some of the goals that have driven you to begin your degree program here at LA Film? The next topic is, how do you plan to add LA Film School activities into your everyday organizational routine? Or if you don't have an organizational routine, how do you plan to start one? And the last topic that we guys want you to cover is, what are some things that you'd like to know about the methods that your classmates use to stay organized? So those are the topics available to you. We'd like you to pick 3 minimum, and that's going to be your initial post. And that's going to be due Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m. So that's for 1.3. That's the first part. So if you've already completed your initial post, you're good to go on this part. Now, part 2 is your response post. Now, here's what we want and expect from your response posts. We're expecting a detailed response, maybe a paragraph, asking questions, or addressing some of the content of the initial post of whoever you're responding to. What we don't want to see are posts that say, I agree with what you're saying. That's really cool. Thank you for your post. That's a great point. You don't want to say those things and then not follow up, because that would be weird if you heard that in a real conversation, right? It's a little strange. Think of this as a conversation that you're having back and forth with someone, where it's more like a pen pal rather than a chat room. You're going to give your paragraph, they're going to respond with their paragraph, and you respond with yours, and back and forth. If you do want to do sentence responses, have it be like just maybe a little bit of a conversation, or like a question, but you definitely want your big response post, your detailed response post, to be obvious so that we could score you based on that one. Now, if you want to talk to more than 2 of your classmates, you want to respond to more of your classmates, you have that option. You can reply to everybody if you want to. If you find that many friends, more power to you. But you're only required to respond to 2 minimum. So make sure that you get those responses in before Sunday night. Okay, so here are a couple of frequently asked questions. We're almost done here. The instructions say my first post is due Wednesday, but the closing date of discussion is not until Sunday night. Why are there 2 deadlines? So I've already went over this a little bit ago, but it's always something important. You want to hear this as many times as it takes to make sure that it takes. So discussion boards are interactive online conversations with your classmates. Your first posts are due Wednesday night because we all have lives. Of course, we all have schedules. We can't all just sit around our computer talking back and forth with our classmates, although that would be nice. So we want to give everyone plenty of time to not only get their initial post in by Wednesday instead of Monday night, and we want them to give them time to formulate their response post over the following rest of the week, right? So you want to think about, say someone's initial post, maybe digest it, think about a couple of questions, come back to it, and say Thursday you do your response post. You're done for the week. You don't have to worry about Sunday. But if you say wait until Saturday night, you're still ahead of the game. Don't wait until Sunday night. Don't wait until the very end of the night to come up with your response post. Take a couple of minutes, go through a couple of discussion posts, find one that vibes with you, and take 15 minutes and knock out a response for 2 of them, 2 of your classmates, and you'll be good to go. So if you submit your first post after the Wednesday night deadline, that will be a 10-point deduction. So be very careful about that. You want all the points you can get. And how many posts are required for the weekly discussion? Only 2 posts are required. 2 types of posts, your initial post and your response to 2 of your classmates. So that's going to be 3 total, but you've got 2 types to choose from. Or 2 types to complete, rather. And this is going to be the actual rubric that we're using for your discussion. So if your content is highly related to the discussion topic, if your opinions and ideas are expressed clearly, if you make attempts to facilitate group discussion and present your creative information, if you use complete sentences and demonstrate a command of grammar and punctuation, you're going to fall in this exemplary column and get your nice little A. But if you want to fall in the accomplished column, this is going to give you your outline for that. But you definitely want to avoid developing or beginning, because none of us are beginners here, right? Let's fall into this exceptional column here. So again, like I said earlier, make sure that you use the rubric as a checklist for our expectations that are outlined right here. So page 1 and page 3 go together, because what we were asking for here is going to be assessed here. And this is where we can see our expectations and make sure that we score as high a score as possible. All right, so that is the discussion. Are there any questions about that? Okay, so Alan, what I mean by facilitate group discussion, you just don't say, like say a conversation, hey, how are you doing? And you just say, good, I agree. And people are just kind of trying to pull you into the conversation. You just keep giving one-word responses. That's what we're talking about. You want to say, hey, how are you doing? I saw that you posted about the film industry, that you did some editing work. That's really cool. I have a friend who's an editor. We've worked on a couple of YouTube videos together. Say, what's one of the biggest challenges, that sort of thing. That's what we're looking for. You're creating a conversation back and forth rather than just saying hi and bye like you're texting on the phone. Does that answer your question? Yes, Alyssa, you want to leave it open-ended so that we can create a conversation back and forth, but you don't want to leave your ideas incomplete. There's definitely a difference between the two. You're welcome, Alan. All right, so that's the discussion post. Initial post is due Wednesday night. Second, your response post is due Sunday night. And make sure that you hit at least 3 of these topics and respond to at least 2 of your classmates. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the meat and potatoes of our time together. The first assignment that you guys are going to be working on. All right, so we are going to run a little bit over. I'm checking our time here just to make sure that we're good. So just bear with me. I want to make sure that we get through this and that you guys have time for questions at the end. All right, so one of the best ways to manage a busy work or school schedule is to have a digital tool that can go with you anywhere. Luckily, we got one for you. It's Google Drive, and it's a well-known professional solution that will help you keep your daily life organized and will give you instant access to your files on the go. So pretty much everybody in here has a smartphone, and if you've got a smartphone, you pretty much have all you need to make sure that Google Drive is functioning for you as an organizational tool. It can go with you anywhere. So what you're going to need is your Google Drive Gmail account, which you signed up for in Activity 1.2. So if you haven't done that yet, go ahead and do that. It only takes about 5 minutes or so to set up your Google Drive account, which doubles as a Gmail account. So you get 15 gigabytes of storage for whatever you need. That should be plenty for your time here at LA Film. But it might not be for some of you guys that are in the media degrees. But you do have that available to you. So what you want to do is you want to open and sign into your LA Film School Google Gmail account and access the Google Drive site, which is available here. And since I'm already logged in, it's going to look pretty much like this right here. So let's go ahead and move back. And after you've signed in to your Google Drive, and there's nothing in here just yet, you want to make sure, let me open that back up again. Here we go. You want to add folders so that you can begin organizing and adding your images, pictures, links, and documents into an organizational pattern. So what you want to do is you want to select 3 topics from the list below, and you're going to be creating a Google Drive folder for at least 3 major topics on this list. So what I'm going to do right now is kind of go over the instructions and then go to Google Drive and do a little bit of this so that you can see the process. I'm not going to do the whole thing because we're running out of time and I don't want to have you sit here and watch that because we do have a video specifically for that I'm going to get to. But I'm going to show you kind of the process of how to kind of put this together. So we're going to take 3 topics from this list. So let's go ahead and make a folder here. And we're going to create a folder named School Notes. That's our first one. We can see our folder there. The next folder we're going to work on is, let's go ahead and put in some creative ideas. How about that? Creative ideas. That's folder number 2. And then let's do a wildcard folder. So let's see what that asterisk is talking about. So examples of wildcard choices. So what do we got here? Photography, film critics, music websites, event management, favorite directors, gift ideas, travel plans, story ideas, game character names. So pretty much anything we can think of can be a wild card. So let's go ahead and put in some photography. Why not? So those are going to be the 3 folders. Nathaniel was asking a very good question. Are we only allowed to use 1 wild card? No, you are not only allowed to use 1 wild card. All right, so once you've done that, you got your 3 folders. I've also got an example here that you guys can work from too. So there's a sample Google Drive folder with a couple of folders in here that have already been put together so you can see how it looks like completed. But for now, let's go back to our instructions. And now we're going to create. So we've created our G Drive folders that are going to contain our information, our ideas, and resources. Now, those can be in the form of manually typed text files. You can have a list if you want to. You can have uploaded documents, images, links. Anything that you want to feel like you can upload to Google Drive, you pretty much can. And you certainly can, Andrew. So what we want you to do is you're going to share some of these folders to practice collaboration in a professional manner. And you're going to practice color coding and titling your folders to make them easier to find and utilize later. And the G is asking, are we allowed to make our own names for the folders? You absolutely can. You are not limited to these titles. Just make sure that it's clear what each folder contains. And Lisa, you certainly can, because I'm about to. You can definitely upload your own artwork. Okay, so we've got our folders here, right? So now we need to occupy these folders with some files. We need to put some documents in here. We're going to put some images in here. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we got here is we want to create our public shareable folder for at least 3 topics. We've got that. Step 2, we want to add at least 4 files that can be documents, images, links, video, or audio clips into each color-coded folder, and we want to give each file a clear file name that gives you an idea of what it is. So Jonathan, however you want to combine that, it's going to be up to you, as long as you include 3 different files across your three different file types across your 3 different folders. So one folder can be just images, one can be just documents, one can be mixed. That's going to be up to you, as long as you've got those different types. Okay, so let's go ahead and color code our folders here. So we're going to right click on there. We're going to change the color of this one to red. Let's go ahead and change the second one to blue. And let's change this third one to green, because everybody loves that color scheme, right? RGB. All right, so we've got color-coded folders here. Now we've got to drag in some files. All right, so we're going to open our sample files folder here. Great minds think alike, Josiah. And now we're going to throw in some artwork. So let's go to our creative ideas. Let's go inside that folder, and we're going to drag some of these files here and watch them upload. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's done. So now we can go back to our school notes folder, and let's go ahead and throw in some of these notes here. There's a couple more there. And then for photography, let's just throw in some more of our artwork here. That's fine too, just for the example. All right, so where are we on our instructions? So we've completed step 1, we've completed step 2, and now step 3 is that we want to include at least 3 different types of content files in your folders. Have we done that? So we've got RTF, RTF, RTF. Uh-oh, we might just have 2 in here, so we might have to bump it up a little bit. JPEGs. We might have to grab a PNG from somewhere. Let's see what we got here available to us. Let's see. Oh, there's some artwork that we can throw in. There we go. And boom. So now we have a PNG file, a JPEG file, and we have RTF files. So that's 3 different file types, and then we're going to have 4 files per folder. And the way I'm uploading Deshaun is dragging and dropping. So what you see me doing here is literally all you have to do. Boom. And Najee, definitely we want each folder to have different file types. And now each folder can have, for example, all the same file type, and then your other folder can have something different. But as long as you've got 3 different file types across your 3 folders, they can be in any combination you can think of. And if you're worried about it, just upload a couple of music files, a couple of video files, some pictures, and some documents, and then you're good to go. As long as you keep a little bit of everything in there, we're good. Now, Andrew is asking how to compress on the smartphone. That's going to be a bit different depending on what you're using. So sometimes you can just hold and click on the file, and it'll give you the opportunity to use that with a small dialog box. But you might have to do some research using Google to figure out how to do that. So you definitely want to check Google to see how you can use your specific smartphone to compress documents. Okay. So that is step 3. We've got our folders in there, and we've got our files available. Okay, so step 4 is we're going to add the starred status to at least 3 of our files across our folders. This is going to allow you to search for your files a little bit easier. This is just for your benefit. So if we want to star all 3 of these, we can right-click, add the star, and then we can go to starred, and then we see our 3 files here. So it's that simple. So that's step 4. And now, step 5, only 3 color-coded folders are required for this assignment, and they need to be shareable public links so your instructor can view them and give you credit for your work on this assignment. Now, if you want to create private folders that we don't have access to, that's fine, but you can pick at least 3 folders from your Google Drive for this assignment that you want to share. You're not just limited to those 3. You can use it for wherever you want, but for the purposes of our assignment, make sure that you submit those 3 shareable links, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so here's how we're going to share the links to our folders. So say for school notes, what you're going to do is you're going to right-click on school notes, and you're going to click Get Shareable Link. Yes, Kendra, you certainly can upload music. MP3s work, WAV files work, any sort of audio file will work. Okay, so after you right-click on your folder, you want to click Get Shareable Link. Now, here's what you want to do. Anyone with the link can view, and this is green. You want to copy this link right here, Command C. You can open up your Word document or file of choice in Command V, and there you go. We've got our folder here that we can share with our instructor. Now, if you want to make that into a hyperlink, it's just a matter of going into Google, or not Google, excuse me, Microsoft Word, but although Google has its own version of Word. And now we can click this link to verify. And there we are. So we have access to this folder. We are now in the Creative Ideas folder that has been shared with us. Boom. So that's exactly how you're going to share your your folders. That's a completely different thing. Your folders with your instructor. So again, I'm going to show you how to do that again with the photography folder. You're going to get the shareable link. You're going to copy that link and you're going to paste that into your Word document. And then your instructor can click that link, see your folders, and then you're good to go. All right, so that was step number 5. So that's step 5. And step 6 is you're going to, in the same document, include your written explanation in 1 to 3 paragraphs describing your thoughts on how you'll use digital tools such as Google Drive to search, discover, collect, save, organize, retrieve, and/or share information, ideas, and digital content. That's a mouthful. And we want you to explain how these tools will help you save time and increase efficiency in school, your career, and your daily life. Now, I showed you the links. Let me show you guys an idea of what this looks like all put together. All right, so we covered the theory, right? We covered the process. Here's what this looks like in action. I've got an example for you guys to look at. So we can see here that we have this student's submission. He included his first name and his last name. It's a very original name there. He included his student number. That's also necessary. He included the name of the activity. That's not necessary. If you want to include that, okay, that's fine. But what he also has is what we're asking for in step 6. In the same document, include your written explanation in 1 to 3 paragraphs describing your thoughts on how you will use digital tools such as Google Drive. And here he is, 1 to 3 paragraphs that discuss his thoughts on Google Drive and digital organization, and then the 3 links to his shareable folders. So I'll click the first link here. I need permission. So what I'm going to have to do is log into my LA Film School Google Mail account so I can see that as an instructor, but I can verify that these works. So I'm going to go ahead and switch accounts, go to my LA Film School account, and I now have access to his folder, and I can see all this material. And now what I'm not going to do is go in here and be nosy and see what all the files are. I just want to see that they are JPEGs, documents, and a couple of other PDFs here. So he's got 3 different types in this particular folder. That's good to go. And now we can check his second one and see what that one looks like. And of course, I have to switch accounts. So that's a couple of extra steps, but you guys can see this is what we're looking for. We're looking for those shareable links that we can click on as your instructor to view what you included in your folders so that we can use that in terms when we assess you using the rubric. Now, Lisa, it can be your regular Google Drive, but we do encourage you to use your LA Film School Google Drive account. So we do prefer you use that one, but if you have something else that you check more often, by all means, we definitely want you to keep that in mind as well. Okay, so again, this is a working example of what the assignment looks like visually. So you have a picture of what we're expecting from you, and then we're going to be using the rubric here to assess what we see. Okay, so the required topics are responded to thoroughly. The assignment is highly organized. The writing conveys this message in clear and effective sentences. We're looking for all of these major points. Did you include everything you needed to? Is it clear and easy to understand? And did you run spell check? So those are some of the things that we're going to be assessing you on. So you can definitely use this as a goalpost for making sure that you include everything that's necessary. And just one more time, I'm going to show you guys how to share your folders. You're going to right-click on your folder. You're going to get that shareable link, and you're going to make sure that it says anyone with the link can view. Copy it, and then you can paste it into your Word document. Now, you do have share settings here where you can kind of mess with this a little bit. Don't leave this alone. As long as it shows that you can share this with anyone with the link can view, that's perfect. Now, you can say anyone with Los Angeles Film School can view the link or edit it. You want anyone. We're going to be the only ones that see it, but this prevents any issues from coming up. That way it's completely foolproof, and we don't have to worry about broken links or links that don't lead to folders or anything like that. So this will give you guaranteed something that will work. Okay, so I have a question in here about how to save and upload the assignment for the submission. Let's go over and do that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to name this properly. So we're going to save this guy as, so for example, it'll be my last name, my first name, and then for assignment 1, A1 is going to be what you call it. We're going to hit enter. That's going to be our new document here. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to click our document. And depending on if you're using Mac or PC, it should be about the same. We're going to right-click on our document here, and then we're going to compress it or make it archive. And that's going to give you a zip file that you can upload to the 1.4 activity. I hope that answers your question. So this is essentially what you're going to do. Okay, Deshaun, so you're going to name your assignment. We've got Hardy Justin A1. And then if we want to make a compressed document for our assignment, which is right here, right-click on it, and then go to compress. Now, if you're using a PC, it might be something called zip, 7-zip, archive. It's going to be a bit different depending on what you're using. But if you're using a Mac, you should see archive or compress, and it's going to give you the name of the folder or the name of the file or folder or whatever it happens to be that you want to compress. And then all you have to do is click, and you're good to go. Yep, you want to right-click the file. And if you do have specific questions about this, again, we do have information in the class resources section here that it has information on how to make screenshots, how to how to compress your document and everything. So if you have questions about those outside of our live session, that's going to be available right here. So yes, Deshaun, you're going to right-click on the initial document. Then you're going to compress or archive that file. And I understand you, no problem. You're using your phone to watch us. That's cool. Okay, so that is first assignment. That's the first discussion that we covered. The last thing I want to remind you guys about before we open everything up to questions is that we do have a video that I'm going to go ahead and link for you guys. This shows you the entire process from start to end on how to complete this assignment in case you have any questions on it. I know since we're in the live session right here and it's been about an hour, that's a lot of content to scroll through to make sure that you can find what you're looking for. So this is about 11 minutes, and it shows you essentially everything that I showed you about making new files, color coding your files, starring your files, and making sure that you have the final submission document ready to go and uploaded. So if you have that available to you, just go ahead and bookmark that, and that should save you a lot of time if you have any questions about the process for assignment 1. And if you do have questions above this process, something else comes up, just make sure that you reach out to your instructor and let us know any issues that you might have. Okay, so that is going to be the end of the recording. If you guys are watching this at home, please reach out to us to any questions that you might have. You can call us, email us, send us a message. We really appreciate your time. And if this recording is helpful to you, please reach out to us and let us know. Okay, thank you very much.